Hey, we're back. Here we go. Dom, how we feeling?
Um, Fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, what we all expected to happen finally happened last night, so it's just
Yeah, well,
fine. It's unfortunate. I'll get my thoughts here.
yeah, we'll get after that. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, weather's turning. Had a nice day today. I was, out and
Yeah.
about, drinking a little bit,
Oh, I did the complete
enjoying.
opposite. I
Really?
huddled inside today. I've been
Ah,
out
dude, it was
for
so
like the
good.
last 48 hours straight, so
Fair enough.
I needed a day to not move.
No,
Unfortunately, it
I
wasn't as nice as it
was,
was, but
you know, working. I finally got the day off and
there you go.
got the good weather to go along with it, and I enjoyed it for sure. I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. All right. Well, let's get into it. You kind of alluded to it there.
Yeah.
Rogers officially back in Pittsburgh on a 1 year, $25 million deal.
hmm
Um, yeah, where does that land for you?
I mean, so we kind of talked about this post draft a little bit in my thoughts going forward with this team. Is that bringing Rodgers back does a lot of harm to this team in a way where you're not aiming in a direction that you need to go. Because like looking at the future, that's kind you always have to project. One, does this player put us closer to winning a Super Bowl? If so, how much? Sure, Rodgers is a better option than anybody else on that team. By a lot? No, but he's a better option. Is the team itself built enough to win a Super Bowl? No. So where does that get you going forward? Get you right back to where you were this past year. Middle of the pack, not going to get you the quarterback of the future and not going to put you in a position to draft that game changer that you're going to need going forward. So where does that leave us in a year? Exactly the same place, except we're one more year removed with two young quarterbacks on this roster who have no starting time on the team. And now McCarthy is going to have to try to develop both of them because they're not going to be in a position to draft a first round quarterback. So it's just what are we doing? And as we'll get into the schedules here in a bit, it's not like they have a super difficult schedule. So chances are they're probably going to be a fringe playoff team again. So it's just aside from any major injuries from the defensive side or whatever, the team's going to be the same because they got better this offseason. Outside of Rodgers, the team got better as a whole. So, like, yes, as a player, as like a fan, you're excited about that. But also, in the grand scheme of things, I'm just looking at 2020 Ben all over again, and kind of like looking at the future is bleak for Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what Rodgers gets you on this team. And then I was scrolling today on Twitter, as one does, and somebody brought up a good point that they now have four quarterbacks on the roster between Rodgers, Mason, Howard, and Aller. The likely man out is Mason, which is unfortunate because that's a veteran backup quarterback. So if Rodgers was to go down, and chances are he probably does,
Yeah, what, 41 going on 42?
he'll be
41?
42. He'll be
Yeah.
42 at bare minimum by the time the league starts. So you're looking at a 42-year-old quarterback and then two rookies behind him with no starting capability. Sure, if that was your goal to run out starters, do that. Fair. I mean, run out young guys without anything behind them and just let it ride. However, you now have two guys under Rodgers that both need coached up and maybe get starting opportunities, but they're going to eat into each other's time.
Yeah.
There's no projection there with them. So truly, the player who should get left out of that room is Will Howard, if we're being all serious.
100%. I mean, he's the lowest pick. He was what, sixth rounder?
Six round pick in a better quarterback class, or well, similar quarterback class. You have two first round quarterbacks and then not another quarterback taken to the third. So similar quarterback class. And then just all around, not a better prospect than Drew Aller. So it's just like lower investment, and the team as a whole would probably lean more on Aller if going forward because of the trades. And McCarthy's a trades guy at the end of the day. And that's he didn't draft Howard. He has no allegiance to that man.
No, no, that is another interesting part of it, and also like if Mason's going to be the one that's left out,
Hmm.
I mean, you're not going to get really anything for him.
He's
It's
gonna
going to
be
be you're going to be
he's gonna
it's going
get
to be a
cut.
cut, and you're going to have to live with that. However, on the flip side of it, like once they signed McCarthy, that like it was inevitable
I mean, I
that it
think it was
was
inevitable
Roger.
regardless. The way this,
I think
if they don't make the
had they
playoffs, I think it's different.
I think yeah, that definitely would have thrown a wrench into it. You could have been in the same or in the situation that the Ravens were in.
Hmm.
But again, I mean, they had the opportunity to reboot the franchise with a younger coach, everything like that. But because they've invested so much into that defense at this point, they're trying to make it last.
Yeah,
And it was always going to happen the second that you hired what? How old is McCarthy? 60?
64.
Something like that? Early 60s McCarthy
Yeah.
when you had young options available.
Hmm.
Regardless of how what's his name from the Rams interviewed, like
Either one,
yeah, either one of them,
Fieldhouse
but
or
the
yeah.
other one, yeah, I mean, you could have gone that route and at least redid everything there.
Hmm.
But like I said a year ago, I think now at this point, like it's the '85 Bear. It's the Bears up until 2 years ago. You are
Hmm.
holding on to a time when defense ruled all. You're holding on to that nostalgia of it and the relevance of that. And you have been passed by what the league is now. Like, the league is offense. And if you don't have a quarterback, you need to find a way to get one. And plug and play older veteran is not the way to do it. I mean, the Colts have been trying that for years since Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah.
And
They
that's
found
simply not working.
they found
At
flaws in the
least, but
plan last year.
right, yeah, and then like at least they had it didn't work, but like they made the attempt with Anthony Richardson. They bottomed out, had the number 4 pick. They took a shot. It didn't work, but
No.
at least you had the opportunity. Steelers are not doing that. They're yes, they draft defense well. Yes, they draft and develop receivers. And that creates a lot of talent on that roster. Just simply holding on to that to stay relevant and be have a chance to make the playoffs every year, it's not going to work long term.
No.
Like you're just stuck in purgatory. You're never going to be good enough to actually contend. Nobody thinks the Steelers over the last 5, 6 years. I mean, probably longer. I mean, we're probably going on closer to 8 years of anybody thinking that they're a real contender. And
Year they lost to the Jags, like 2018,
17, 2018.
20
That's what I was going to say.
2017 season, 2018
That's the
playoffs.
last time I remember the Steelers feeling like a real contender, despite what was it, 2 years later starting or 3 years later starting 10-0. That team still didn't feel like it. It just felt like fool's gold the whole time. But you're also not ever bad enough to put yourself in a position to take a chance on the quarterback or get one even.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
the same like the same time we're crushing the Rams for doing that, it's also like you understand the thought process on it because they don't see themselves ever or
being back in
drafting
that
that
position.
high
Yeah.
for another 4 or 5 years until after Stafford is long gone.
And they never want to be at that point where they feel like they're at the bottom.
Exactly. And, that could come back to bite them in the ass, but that's a whole other thing. But, like, the Steelers, you're just never there.
Hmm. The highest they've been in the last decade, minus a trade up, obviously, because they've
Mm.
traded up to 10 and they drafted Devin Bush. They've
I
traded
was
up
going to
to
say Devin Bush was the
14,
highest that they've drafted since
and that was
Ben.
and that was a trade up.
Yeah.
And they traded up to 14 to take Broderick Jones. So they haven't drafted actually in the top 10 since the 90s. Like
No,
with their
wait.
own pick.
What was Ben?
Ben was 11.
Was he?
He
I
was he
wanted
was
to.
outside the top 10.
I thought he was like 8 or something like that.
Yeah. No.
All right, but even still, yeah. I mean, I just think it. The one thing that I think could be really interesting with the Steelers this year is come week 4, week 5, and again, I don't think they'll do it, but I
Hmm.
think it's going to end up being a very real talking point to kind of reboot everything that they have going on, and that is a TJ Watt trade.
I just don't see it because
I don't see it either,
there would be
but
more writing on the wall for that. Do I think in the off season?
I mean, there was a little
Sure.
bit of rumblings in the last like week about it, but again, I don't think it'll happen. I don't think they have the balls to do it.
Hmm.
Like they're gonna do right by him, kind of thing. And if he
Exactly.
wants to be there, they're just gonna say, okay, then like we'll just keep paying you. But I
I
do
mean,
think that is something that they could do to give them some juice. I
yeah,
mean, we saw Max Crosby go for 2 firsts for 48 hours. I think you could get at least one. Now, granted, that's
it's because you got to look
that's
at the
probably from a
contract.
contender. Yeah, the contract is big, but again, like
I mean, if you're looking for capital to move
if
around,
Chicago wants to do that at some point in time,
sure, sure,
like
sure, they get
you
desperate enough.
you have to think about it. And if you go into the 2027 draft with 2 firsts and one of them is
15,
28 and the other one's 14,
you can move up.
packaging that up for next year's class,
Yeah,
you don't, and that's the thing is like you're Pittsburgh. You don't need,
two first.
not even that. You don't need the 1A prospect.
As nice as it would be.
As amazing as that would be, like you're one of the franchises that doesn't need that. You have the stability. Obviously, to a fault, you're too stable at times. Like you can get a guy that in the first round who is clearly a talented quarterback.
Yeah,
Like Ty Simpson would have made sense for Pittsburgh.
yeah. I mean, he
You
would
know what I
have
mean?
eventually worked out.
Yes. Like again, even if you wanted to run it back with Rodgers, like okay, you took a guy in the first round.
Hmm.
And Ty Simpson, like, we talked about it, like Miami or Arizona trading back up into the first to get him, wasn't ever going to work. But Ty Simpson with the Rams, there's a real shot at that. Ty Simpson with the Steelers, there's a real chance of that.
Hmm.
Like, just because of what franchise is in terms
Hmm.
of stable, consistency, support. Like, again, like that's how we know Kenny Pickett is not a good quarterback, is not a starting quarterback in this league. It's because he couldn't,
Cut it there.
yeah, you couldn't make it there.
I
Like,
mean, they invested 3 years into him.
yeah, they gave you the time, they gave you a lot there. And again, the way they draft and develop weapons in that building. Like,
Hmm.
O-line can be a little hit and miss, but between
I mean,
defense
for a decade, the O
and
line was
weapons,
stable, but yeah,
yeah,
defense and weapons, that's been the more
like
consistent up until recently. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of weirdness going on. Do I expect it to work out? Sure. We're probably going to be looking at a similar outcome as we did this past year. Could I
yeah.
be
I
wrong? Of
mean, nine
course.
and
Of
eight,
course I could be wrong.
9 and 8, 10 and 7. I mean, that's what we're looking at. I think that's
Yeah,
your ceiling and floor,
I completely agree.
barring injury.
Yeah, barring injury of any kind. But yeah. All right,
Yeah,
moving on here a little bit. A couple more things to talk about.
hmm
Devon Achan got absolutely paid. Absolutely paid.
unbelievably.
I was not expecting it. They kept Everybody kept asking, okay, is Devon Achan going to be the next person dealt out of Miami? And they kept saying no, and they put their money where their mouth is on Wednesday, and they gave him a 4 year,
4 years,
80,
68, 32
68,
guaranteed. So basically, first 2 years guaranteed.
and 17 million a year. So
So
big money for a
big
player
money
who,
for sure. I mean, 16 million a year is wild, but I will give the Dolphins credit on only guaranteeing the first 2 years of that.
sure, but additionally, he's very inconsistent because he's not always on the field due to
Yeah.
injury. And that was a worry going into his career, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be on the field because of his size? And when he's on the field, he's great. He's the showcasing point on that team. A backfield with him and Malik Willis could be electric. I
Mhm.
I need to see them both being healthy. I need to see Malik Willis actually playing. But then there's a lot more questions on that team than there are answers. The only one that I know for sure is that they want HN there for sure. And then second note here is that Malik Neighbors had a second surgery on the knee that he tore up to clean it up. Apparently there was scar tissue buildup and they needed to get rid of that, just so it would heal more proportionally. So we'll see. I don't know if that sets him back a couple weeks.
I was
Uh,
just looking at this again too. Yeah, just to clean up there. Giants are still hopeful that he's going to start. He'll play
week
week
one.
1. Yeah,
So yeah,
so
again,
not too
I don't know.
much.
It definitely
Also,
is going to hinder him from being 100%. He might be out there. He might be on a snap count. If I had to guess, he's probably not truly out there until week 4.
I was going to say, yeah, I do think that there's a little bit of a ramp up period with this
Hmm.
Giants team, regardless whether he's there week 1 or not. Like, I think it's going to take a couple weeks with them, but we'll get into that with them too. Also, side note, with the HN deal, sneaky winner of that deal, got to give it to him. Kansas City getting ahead of the running back market there a little bit.
I mean,
Of the
sure.
3 dudes that have been, or 4 dudes that have been paid this year, Kenneth Walker, Etienne, Brees Hall, and Achan. You can argue that very easily that one, the Chiefs got the best value, and they got potentially probably the second best guy at the
Okay,
very least.
yeah, okay. I was like, I don't know who.
I think Brees is the best of those
Yes,
4.
yes.
Yes,
I think there's a gap.
100%. I am with you on that. I would say if you wanted to make the argument about Kenneth Walker, I'd listen. I'm not jumping onto that side, but like
Yeah, I get
I'll
it. I get
allow an argument. But definitely the best
it.
value because they got him at what, 9, 10?
It was definitely over 10 because Seattle knew they would get outpriced.
3 year. Oh yeah. So 3 year 43. What, under 11 though?
For 3 year 43, yeah, it's like 14 and a half.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, 14. Sorry, I can't do math.
Yeah, you're good.
But
And
only
then,
28 guaranteed.
yeah, and
So
then
again, two
Brees
of the three
got,
years.
Brees got 15.
Yeah.
And then,
And
I don't know,
ETN
You're saying his name wrong. It's,
Etienne?
it's like Achan.
No, I was saying Etienne.
Yeah, that's not his name. That's not how. Did you not miss that story? When he was introduced by New
Oh,
Orleans.
shit. Yeah, I did forget about that.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know. I mean, Bajan Robinson was saying we've been saying his name wrong the whole time, but also did ads with Grey Poupon. So, like, I don't know what you want me to say.
fair enough.
Yeah. So,
um,
I don't
yeah,
know.
but yeah, just interesting stuff.
Yeah. Weird. I mean, good year for running backs. I'll give you that. Yeah.
That's the good part. Running back market's back.
The running back that went from the Jags to the Saints got 4 years, 48. We'll just do it that way.
12 million a year, which is crazy. Just
I
absolutely
mean, I'll start introducing him as Trevor Lawrence's roommate
best friend.
in college. Weren't they roommates?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, well, let's get into this. Schedule release on Thursday night. Always fun. I love this time of year. This is my favorite off-season thing here because it kind of sets the table for gambling, win totals, everything like that. I obviously enjoy looking at how much does everybody travel? What do those look like? All that fun stuff. So, got a few good ones there. I wanted to touch on a few here before we get into a top 5 easiest and top 5 toughest lists here. So the big ones, obviously, we'll touch on the Chiefs here. They were my biggest takeaway with Kansas City's schedule is them getting the opening Monday night game week 1. That to me is a sign that not only the Chiefs believe it, but the NFL is also in agreement that Mahomes is going to be ready to go week 1.
Well, no, not only that, but they played Denver,
Yes,
who's
there
also
is
expecting their quarterback to be back for week 1, who's coming off an ankle injury.
Yeah.
So you have two stars of their franchises facing off week 1. Because I mean that's a terrible look if that game ends up being Justin Fields against Jarrett Stidham instead of Patrick Mahomes against Bo Nix. If they have
Yeah.
if they have any inkling at all that is going the other way, this is not a Monday night game.
Exactly. Yes. This is
They're
if there was
pairing Sunday.
any hesitation, this would be a 4:00 Sunday game.
No, 4:05.
Just in case that they are both available, it would be CBS's highlight game in the 4:00 window. However, being on a Monday night, that immediately tells me both of those guys are going to be available.
Correct.
That's my first big takeaway here. The other things that I noticed with this, their schedule really is not bad. The only real downside to it that I noticed is a week 5 bye. I don't think that they're going to love that. Like, after Denver, their next 3 weeks, it's Colts, Dolphins, Raiders. Like, it does soften up for them. They just have the marquee game on that Monday night. It softens up a bit into the bye week. I don't think a team that has, 36, 37-year-old Travis Kelce, 34-year-old Chris Jones, and Mahomes coming off. He might be. I'm just guessing. I thought he was a little bit younger than Kelce, but I could be wrong on that. And then Mahomes coming off of the knee surgery there. They're not going to love having the early bye. I mean, nobody likes having the early bye as is, let alone older stars. So that's not great.
He's about to be 32. He's younger than I thought. Yeah.
He's even younger than I thought. I didn't think he was as old as Kelce, but I thought they were a little bit closer at least. Even still, older D tackle. Let's just put it that way. Don't think that they're going to love that. But then, you get coming out of the bye, you get the Chargers at
Mhm.
home, and then you have to go to Seattle, to Denver, but to Denver on November 1st rather than in December. That's a nice little break there. And then they do have a rough little month and change here. What is it? 6 week stretch from
Mhm.
weeks 12 to 17. You have to go to Buffalo on a short week on Thanksgiving, but then you get the full week play at the Rams again on Thursday Night Football. Extra rest before you go to Cincy. I really don't love those like three in a row,
All on the road.
all on the road. Fair amount of travel. You're a centrally located team, but having to go east all the way west and then north, like that's a lot of travel in a 3 week stretch. That could be a little funky. But then you get New England at home on a little bit of extended rest with that being a Monday night game, and you get San Francisco at home. They have to come to you at the end of
Mhm.
December. That is also nice. And then that little stretch ends with going to the Chargers. Again, only
Not
part of that actually sucks is just the travel part of it. It's not like
yeah.
it's a, big home field swing there. And then you get to finish with the Raiders. So again, I think the NFL did do them some favors here. You get both of your Denver games done early before the weather really gets funky. You get the Rams coming to you when the weather's shitty at the beginning of December, coming from LA with, one, you're coming from LA, two, older Stafford, who
Yeah.
historically hasn't played well in
Mhm.
bad weather games. All in all, for the first, what is it, 11 weeks? 11 weeks, 10 games, first 10 games. I don't see any reason that
I
this
mean,
team can't be at the
7-3.
bare minimum, bare minimum 6-4,
So,
easily
but
7-3, 8-2.
yeah, let's just kind of like actually looking at their schedule because I've been busy. I haven't really gotten a chance to actually eye all of this up.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that Denver game in week 1, they really are doing Kansas City a lot of favors. You're
Yes.
pushing off the harder games towards the back half of the season for them. Seattle, you get that Chargers, Seattle, Denver run. That's not great, but it's great after your bye, so it's
Yes.
fine. And then Jets, Atlanta, Arizona,
You
and
get that
then
right after that 3 game gauntlet.
correct.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're expecting Mahomes to be back in the full swing of things. That's why you get those games early on, just in case he's not healthy or just in case he needs to ramp up. And then the bye for him to, yes, looking at this fully, there's a lot of favors done to this team. And I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, you want to have, again, the NFL is very meticulous and intentional with a lot of this. And I mean, you want the faces of your league to be playing relevant football games. Again, they have a lot of those tougher, bigger, marquee matchups in that 6 week stretch there,
mhm.
but they should be in good enough shape by that point that, again, you expect them to be able to hang with anybody as long as Mahomes is healthy anyway.
Yeah, it
That
kind of is crazy thinking about the fact that Kansas City can't escape Buffalo in the regular season.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
getting that on Thanksgiving, but again, too, you're still getting a full week of rest and
well,
getting
yeah, I was just saying because it's
after
just
that
funny.
too.
Even though Kansas City finished third in the division, they still have to play Buffalo this year.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it always happens there. Other team. No, no, sorry. I'm going to deal with that later, actually. Forgot about that.
Mhm.
Dallas. That's another kind of a fun schedule here. That I think they got some big breaks as well, honestly. Um, Again, you open at New York. on Sunday Night Football, which I think if that game was week 12, that's a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
But new coach, now with the neighbors stuff, I mean, Dart is coming off an up and down, inconsistent season. I do genuinely like a lot, like where the Giants are going and where they're going to finish by the end of the year. But I think it's going to take a couple weeks until everything kind of settles into place there. So going to New York week 1, I think is a huge favor for them.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL will like having the Cowboys in prime time, Harbaugh. All of it made too much sense that like obviously like of course that's the Sunday night game to open it up. But again, I think that was a little bit of a favor done there. I think getting Washington week 2 is also a bit of a favor.
Mm-hmm.
And Eunice, they're still building up that defense. Again, I feel like that's a much better time to get Washington than it's going to be when they play in week 18 there. And then, they do have to go to Rio to play Baltimore. However, it's a 1 hour time difference. So,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not going to be sluggish. It's
Exactly. It's a much different scenario,
correct.
for sure. So those first 3 weeks, definitely some favors there, especially the first 2. Weeks 3 to 7, again, outside of those first 2 weeks, and even with the that little bit of a gift of being the Rio game with Baltimore there, you do go from weeks 3 to 7, Baltimore, Houston, Tampa, Green Bay, Philly. That isn't going to be as much fun. But then you get Arizona and Indy coming right out of that. You get the Niners at home this year.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee right after that before you go in. You get Philly on a short week. The other thing that I notice is after Philly, they do get Seattle, but that's a Monday night game. So they're going Thursday night to a Monday night game. Get the extra rest there. You have to go to Seattle, but you're getting the extended rest and then into the bye week. And then coming out of the bye, it's at the Rams, Jags, Giants, Commanders, all at home to finish the year. I like the Cowboys a lot this year, going into this year. And this schedule, again, outside of a 5-week stretch, is really favorable for them. I felt like, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it seems. I like what the Cowboys have done. So, in general, I like them a lot more heading in this year. And looking at the schedule in front of me, it seems that they have a good opportunity to win that division. And from what I've seen online, a lot of analysis, a lot of analysts agree with that. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like I said. I think the NFL did them just enough favors to really make them more interesting than they've been the last couple of years here. Let's get to you guys here because I feel like this is kind of been this has been like the story for Pittsburgh for several years now, where it is soft early. You get the bye week, and then it is just fucking hell for you guys.
it's so, it's still not as bad as it was last year. I'll say that
Not as
much.
again, yeah. I mean, we
So,
like
yes.
AFC North drew both of the South divisions, NFC and AFC, so that
So, like, yeah,
does help for
looking at the
sure.
front half of this schedule, you get New England week 2 again, hilarious, and
Right,
then
but
it's
that's coming off of the Super Bowl rematch. Again, they're getting extended
yeah,
rest, but they're going to Seattle, then coming all the way back to Foxborough.
it's whatever. But you have that game, and then You get your bye in week 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is the most favorable bye. Play 8 games, play 9 games. Week 9, week 10, that's when you want your bye. And then out of your bye, you get Cincinnati, then Philly, then Denver, then Houston, then Jacksonville. And we're going to have an answer with Houston and Jacksonville by that time. So I like that for them. I'm
Yep.
going to know what those teams are. Baltimore, I always assume they split, so it doesn't matter. Then
Right.
you get Carolina, who I think is going to take a step back this year
I was gonna say,
because
yeah, that little ramp up is like we see each other, and then you get Carolina and what was it
Tennessee.
Tennessee, and then us again. I forget who we get sandwiched in between those two. I got to look at that.
You get Cleveland and Cincy. You
Okay, yeah,
close with 4 straight division games.
yeah, of course we do. Still don't hate any other part of that game, but or any of that schedule, but we'll get to that then. Um, yeah, like I just like after the bye with you guys. Again, you get one of your Cincy games done early in the first month there. That's a perk. They always start slow. However, once we get to week 10, never fun playing Cincy. And you go Cincy, Philly, Denver, Houston. Like that Philly, Denver, Houston could be rough on Rodgers. Jacksonville, not going to be fun. At least you're going to Jacksonville in December when it's not ungodly hot. But like coming out of the bye, it is nut up or shut up time.
Yeah, I mean that's how it always is, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the team's gonna be if they're not healthy, they're gonna fold at least 4 of those games out of the bye, and probably, like we said, finish middle of the pack yet again. So it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
Again, yeah, no. It's we talk about it, but we'll enjoy 9-8 when it happens.
Oh, 100%. I'll get into shit.
Right? Um did want to touch on two others here.
Okay.
Uh Buffalo and Houston. Two other teams that have mixed things here. So
Wow.
Buffalo,
I'm looking at Buffalo now for the first time, and that
yeah.
is a tough start there.
It is not fun for them. They come out of the gates pretty hot.
Oh,
Um,
their schedule's
yeah,
not
first 5 weeks
good.
is brutal. Yeah,
Yeah,
at Houston, and then on a short week, get Detroit,
against the
Chargers, Pats, at the Rams on Monday Night Football, and then they finally get a break at the Raiders, go into the bye week. Coming out of the bye, also not great. However, I will say two of the Ravens' tougher games on their schedule, which I'll get to them at one point here. I think they get both of, I think it's the Bills and the Rams? Is it the
No,
Rams
you don't
or
play the Rams.
Chargers? No, maybe it's the Chargers then. Both of them off of their buys. So I don't love the extra rest
Mm,
for two of those games there. Not my favorite thing. However, after that, for the Bills,
hmm
again, yeah, bye week 7, got the Ravens at home. Vikings, Jets, Dolphins, nice little recoup period there. And then weeks, what is it, 12 to 16? Chiefs on Thanksgiving on short, I mean, both of them short rest there. But Chiefs on Thanksgiving at New England, at Green Bay. And
hmm
then get Chicago at home, at Denver. Also not going to be fun. That is just like another tough little run. A lot of those are going to be standalone games. I mean, what is that? That's a 5 week stretch. 4 of them are standalones.
hmm Oh, you get
Like,
Cincy out of their bye. That's who it is.
oh, that might be the third one that we get out of their
You get
bye then.
Cincy out of their bye, Buffalo out of their bye.
I th-
Jacksonville, you don't get out of their bye, neither with the
When's,
Chargers or Houston.
maybe it was Cincy. I thought it was the Chargers for some reason. When's the Chargers bye?
week 7.
Okay, then I was off by one there. Anyway, regardless, we'll get into that one then too here. But yeah, I mean that Bills, they're gonna have to be on the 8 ball, ahead of the 8 ball
For
from
sure.
the jump, from the
Yeah.
jump with that schedule. It's a tough one.
I
Like
mean,
everything's just jumbled together for them.
yeah, and then going into the other team you wanted to talk about here, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Houston has that same setup. Well, a little different, but similar idea. You get Buffalo, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Dallas to start. And I think 3 of those teams are going to be probably playoff bound this year. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely a tough stretch. And then after Dallas, you get Tennessee, obviously, because you play them twice a year. And then you play Jacksonville, playoff team potentially. Giants, who are frisky. And then
Mm-hmm.
you get your bye. Out of your bye, you get the Chargers, Cleveland, who's always weird, Indy, then Baltimore, Pittsburgh back to back, and Washington, who could be something we don't know yet. It's way too early to know.
Yeah, I
So
feel like
it's a
I did
weird
like
time of
Houston's because
year.
I feel like it's fairly balanced. It's
It's
everything's
more
spread
balanced
out for
for
them.
sure.
Yes,
But
like
like
it is
the
rough
end of that,
followed by soft kind of thing. Like again, you get I mean Buffalo to start is what it is there, but again, like Cincy in the first month is always a good draw. If you have Cincy on your schedule, you want them early, not late.
yeah,
They get that at Indy early. Again, we don't. That could be a favor for them as well because who knows when Daniel
well, I
Jones is
mean,
getting back.
yeah, they'll play Indy again week 11.
Right, but at least you get one of them early, is what I'm saying
Correct.
there. You know what I
I
mean?
think
Like you're getting,
hmm I think their
yeah,
tough part of their schedule is what I'm looking at here. It's at the end after
yeah.
Indy. So like if you want to include Indy here, like really after their bye all the way up until week 17 could be a tough road because
It could be, or it could
you get
be.
Chargers, Cleveland at Cleveland, Indy if Indy's playing up to par, Baltimore, Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, Commanders if they're good, Jacksonville, Philly, Green Bay. Philly and Green Bay are both on the road.
Yes, that's not great for them. I mean, Baltimore's kind of had Houston's number, so you kind of live with that one. Pittsburgh could be fighting for things. They could be by week 13. Could be a very different story there.
We'll have
Washington
an
is a
idea.
complete coin flip. I am fading the Jags hard, so I'm not as
hmm
worked up about those games with them. I am also not nearly as high on Philly or Green Bay. But again, at face value, those are rough.
Correct, yeah.
And
No,
having to go to, but again, you're getting extra rest when you go to Green Bay. You're getting Philly on a short week, but that's again Thursday night to Monday night.
yeah, benefits you a
So
little bit.
yeah, so you are getting
Yeah. I
some
mean,
extra rest there.
again, all of that is kind of reliant on what's going on with the quarterback of that team. There's so many things that we don't know yet that
Right,
by the time these games roll around, we're going to have an idea.
of course.
Looking at it face value again, it's tough stretches with them.
Yeah, and that's the
Uh,
fun part of this.
yeah, yeah. You have gone ahead and divided what you believe is the easiest versus the toughest set of schedules here.
Yes.
Um,
So I'm going to start with, we'll do the easiest first. We'll get the positives out of the way here.
mhm.
Do we want to go 5-1 or do we want to go 1-5?
Like, however you want to do it. I think
Let's
five
go
to one is
5-1
fine.
here. Let's go 5-1. We'll leave the best for last year. So, fifth easiest schedule, in my opinion, is the Philadelphia Eagles.
hmm
Same kind of thing. I thought they got some breaks in their schedule. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it again here. There we are. Yeah, you get a nice little tune up to start with all the offseason noise going on there. You get Washington and Tennessee first 2 weeks.
hmm
Should be nice to get Hurts into a rhythm, new OC. Again, lots of noise there. And then you go to Chicago week 3, on Monday night, so you get the extra day of rest there. Not the worst thing in the world. You get the Rams at home the week after that. McVay, again, historically has not been good on the East Coast. You love bringing that up. And then you do have to go to London to play Jacksonville, but that is the first of the London games, the first of Jacksonville's two. They're always better in the second one.
No, that's
So
the second of Jacksonville's. Oh no, that's the
no,
second. That's Jacksonville's first.
yeah,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, Jacksonville's first. They play back to back,
I was gonna say because there's a
but
London game the week prior.
oh,
I
okay,
think.
yeah,
I'm
I don't
pretty
think so.
sure.
It's
It's Indy, Washington. It doesn't say where it's at on my schedule here.
is that Madrid? Maybe
Maybe that's the Madrid game.
I'm trying to remember which
There's
one,
so
but
many international games this year. It's tough.
yeah, I mean Jacksonville is in London week 5 and 6. Philly gets their first one, which is nice there. And then when you come back, you get Carolina. You get Cowboys at home on Monday night. And then you get your second Washington game out of the way in week 8, which is nice. Week 10 bye. Never hate that little stretch, like you said, too. Like weeks, what is it?
9-10.
9-10 is the best of them there. And 8 to 11 is, you can live with those too. Again, other tougher games on this schedule. You get Seattle at home. You get Houston at home. And Seattle is a Saturday game. Houston, Thursday night game. So it's not a normal Sunday to Thursday turnaround there. So you get that extra day for that Thursday night game. And then you finish at San Francisco, at New York. Like, they got...
Nice.
Things fell nicely for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
the NFL set them up that you can attack that schedule. No matter what. Like, no matter what these teams are doing by these points of the year, like, you got some breaks. The majority of your tough games are at home. And again, Chicago early in the year. You don't have to go to Chicago in December when it's windy, cold, and frozen. Like, it is very friendly. And again, even like your shitty weather games are going to be home games once we get into December. December, they go to Arizona, to San Francisco, and New York. Sorry, I forgot. They finish at New York. But outside of that, all your road games are going to be in good weather. So very friendly from them. Number 4, kind of alluded to it, kind of talked about it a little bit here. I have Baltimore. Again,
Yes.
second place schedule, getting those 2 divisions is with
Nice.
AFC and NFC South is very nice. Again, they get an international game. It's Rio. It's not a big time change. It's not that type of jet lag. Getting to start with Indy and New Orleans. Already talked about getting Indy early in the year is going to be better than getting them later. And New Orleans, God knows what's going on there. And then it's the Rio game, followed by Titans, Falcons, Browns. And then we get into the fun stuff, which is Cincy, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Chargers. But it's at Buffalo, short week Jacksonville, and then get the Chargers on Monday Night Football. So another Thursday night to Monday night extended rest thing there. That's always nice. Same thing at the end of the year. Again, week 13 bye, so they're getting most of the season out of the way here for the bye week. Post bye, it's 5 games. It's Bucks, Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Steelers. The second Steelers game will be on extended rest because week 17, Ravens go to Cincinnati Thursday Night Football on New Year's Eve. And get the Steelers the following week will be extended rest. So that part of it is nice there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, like the same thing with the Eagles. Like you can get after this schedule. Nothing overly difficult back to back. Toughest stretch really would be, you know, if you go about it based on last year, I mean, you have, what is it, 5 consecutive playoff teams with Buffalo, Jacksonville, Chargers, Panthers, Texans.
Hmm.
However, like we said, there's going to be turnover with a couple of those, and some that were, early thoughts were fading a little bit there. So, again, not a bad schedule at all. Number 3, I have Tampa.
Interesting.
I got to look at this again here. The divisions that they drew.
They drew NFC North and AFC
Oh,
North.
AFC North. Yeah, is it both of the North?
Yeah, both of the North.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not. But yeah, sorry. Let me say it this way. They kind of got a lot of what the Ravens got, which is not a lot of consecutively tough games. Like their toughest stretch is probably going to end up being weeks 4 to 6, and that's at Green Bay, at Dallas, home for the home for the Steelers. But again, you're going to Green Bay at the beginning of October, not in December, as a Florida team. They play the Bears and the Lions, both road games back to back, but they have their bye week sandwiched in between the two of those. They have to go to the Chargers, to the Ravens back to back. Don't love that, but like that's it really. Like they get the Rams at home, and that's sandwiched between Falcons and Saints. Like there is not much in the ways of, damn, we got to go through this gauntlet here. So that is definitely very friendly. And then Detroit, I have at number 2. Again, very friendly schedule on this one here. Only downside with them, early bye. But they're getting a 4th place schedule, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, 3rd place. No.
No, they got a 4th place schedule.
Place.
Yeah.
I just looked at it wrong.
I was trying to do the math. I just needed confirmation there. So you're getting a 4th place schedule with that roster, which everything just kind of went to hell for them last year. First 5 weeks, they go to Buffalo. That's the only game of note in their first 5 weeks. Then bye week 6, out of the bye. It's Green Bay, Minnesota, Miami. Go to Munich to play the Patriots, so benefit getting the Patriots on neutral field there. Then get Tampa. Short week, Bears. Only downside is probably last 2 weeks. At Chicago, at Green Bay, in cold, shitty weather. But, we talked about this, 2 years ago now, with the Lions and Jared Goff. Like, they played, 3 games outside?
Yeah, that one.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
And it's fallen that way for the most part, where most of their outdoor games are going to be in good weather outside of Chicago and Green Bay. Like, you go to the end of their schedule, like their other road games, it's Minnesota, dome, Atlanta, dome, Miami, warm weather, Arizona, hybrid, Carolina, warm weather, like at Buffalo, but that's in September. Like, things fell very good for the Lions. I like them a lot this year. I like them even more with this schedule. And then easiest schedule for me is Chicago. We'll stay in division there. Again, good draws from that NFC North there as well. I think Chicago got a lot of favors, especially again, we talked last year about them being a team that really lived on turnovers
Yeah.
on the defensive side. And that's never something that's linear. This schedule helps them for sure. First month, toughest game, Philly. Get them on extended rest. I mean, obviously Philly gets it too, but like that's a Monday night game. You go to Green Bay early. You know, it's October 11th. You're going to Green Bay. You do get New England on a short week on a Thursday night there in week 7, followed by at Seattle. Again, that's a Thursday night to Monday night game. Like extra rest there when you have to go to Seattle. And then Sunday night football the following week against Tampa into your bye week. Out of the bye, friendly. Saints at the Lions on Thanksgiving. Not going to be fun, but like
Yeah.
you're getting a break there.
Yeah.
The roughest part of that is
Buffalo.
15 to 17. Yeah, you go to Buffalo and then you get Green Bay and Detroit at home.
And then you're going to Minnesota. Yeah.
At Minnesota. But again, like things could be wrapped up by that point. One way or the other.
Potentially. Yeah.
Like there could be a little bit more clarity that that game may not mean as much, but again, like they got some favors on this one too. Like this is the NFL wanting, like, seeing a glimpse of getting the Chicago market back as a real mover of the needle, and they're trying to take advantage of that for sure. And then we'll switch over to the toughest schedules here. Starting at number 5, I have the Chargers. This one, I have heard some takes saying that this is one of the, or on the easier side, that they're getting favors. I don't see it.
Interesting.
They get to start with the Cardinals and Raiders, and then it is much less fun. At Buffalo, at Seattle, Denver, at Kansas City, bye week 7. Out of the bye, at the Rams, Houston, at Baltimore. And then you get a break with the Jets, and then it's Patriots, Bucks, like Raiders when they could be getting rolling at that point. San Francisco. You get, and then you finish with Kansas City and at Denver. Like that is not fun. Like that is the majority of their season is weeks 3 to 10. They have a bye week in there, and that's a brutal stretch.
That's a gauntlet, yeah. Yeah.
That is a really rough stretch that could completely derail their season. And a lot of those, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 7 games. 5 of them are on the road. Yeah, 5 of those 7 games in that stretch are on the road with a bye week in there.
And that's arguably the 5 hardest games.
Yeah. And your home games are Denver and Houston. One of those is still basically going to be a road game at that point. You just don't have to get on a plane for it. Like, Denver is going to travel. Houston, not enough of a moving fan base there.
I was going to say about as much of a fan base.
Yeah. So, like, that is tough. I don't like that at all for them. Now, granted, you know, you steal a couple games. Once you get through that, you can see a path there. But that is one of the toughest stretches I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Going through the schedules here. Sure. Number 4, I have Green Bay. This is another one I didn't like, even remotely, really. Again, I think they start soft. Vikings, Jets, Falcons, and then they have a week 11 bye, so it's not overly late. It's, you know, on the later side.
Oh,
sure,
I'm
but
sorry. I was somehow at somebody else's schedule.
no, you're good. But yeah, they got that little 3 week tune up there, but then it's
Hmm.
at Tampa, Chicago, Dallas, at Detroit, Eagles, at New England, Minnesota into the bye. And then coming out of the bye, they are one of those teams. There's a couple of these actually that they don't even get a full bye week because
Hmm.
they come out of their bye on Thanksgiving Eve. They have the shortest one. Out of their bye week, they play on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they don't even get the full normal bye.
Same with the Rams.
And
Rams do the same thing. Yeah.
have to go to LA. Oh, the Rams got that too?
Yeah, Rams got
I
that
didn't
too.
realize their bye weeks are on the same one. I guess that makes sense because it's a Wednesday game. Yeah. So like there's no favors done for Green Bay here.
Correct.
Because even going into the bye, they get Minnesota, who's gonna be physical. We know that on the defensive side. Rams get Arizona before their bye week. It's going to be two very different looking teams on Thanksgiving Eve there.
Hmm.
And then you get the Saints at New Orleans, which, again, not friendly. It doesn't matter how good or bad the Saints are. Nobody likes playing in New Orleans. And then it's Buffalo. And then you finish with at Chicago, Houston, and Detroit. Not fun.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it's
don't I
not.
don't like that.
Yeah.
And then speaking of which, we just talked about them. Number 3, I have the Rams. A lot of the same things here. So again, you're starting in Australia.
That's right. That's the first game of the year. It's Australia. Jeez.
Well, technically not the first because they're having the
Well,
Seahawks Patriots play on Wednesday. It's a Wednesday,
are,
yeah,
are they really?
yeah. That's September
That's
10th.
crazy.
Seattle, September 9th. Yeah, I think they bumped it back to make everything make sense there. So
Still.
yes, you're starting in Australia, and then they're doing you the favor of getting you to Monday Night Football the following
Hmm.
week against the Giants there. But then you follow that up with at Denver, at Philly, Buffalo. Like, it's that's not an easy stretch when you
No,
factor
it's
in the travel of the first 2 weeks. Doesn't matter what you think about the Giants, good or bad, what you think about the Niners, good or bad. Having Australia and then another primetime game is just going to be rough for them. And then following that up with at Denver, at Philly, and Buffalo to round out your first 5 games. You get a little bit of a break there with Cardinals and Raiders, but then you get the Chargers right after that. And then you have to go to Washington. Again, McVay, not great on the East Coast.
well. Technically, my point is he's not great in Philly. The
It's
rest of the
but
East Coast, it's not as
I
bad. But Philly
it's not as
specifically,
bad, but he's still not great when he comes out east, and
it's
especially
really
when
bad
they're
in Philly. Is what I'm.
that's fair.
So is
But
my point.
and also you know how I feel about West Coast teams coming east for 1 o'clock kickoffs.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, like that's the other part of it. Again,
Um.
4 o'clock kickoff doesn't bother me as much, but 1 o'clock, completely different ballgame.
Mhm.
And then you get your bye week, and you get again same thing with Green Bay. There, you get a shortened bye week, and then you have to play the next Thursday against Kansas City. Then you go to San Francisco, Dallas, at Seattle, Tampa, Seattle. Like they're after the bye, those
I
what
think it's
6, 7
9.
games. Like yeah, they're getting hit again. Like they have not a lot of room to breathe in this schedule. And then you factor in the travel and the shortened bye week. Like
Hmm.
they not a lot of favors there either. That should be I don't know. I guess punishment for taking Ty Simpson at 13. Number 2, this one I think is a little bit more poignant and a more aggressive approach by actually both of these. My top 2 toughest schedules I think are this is the NFL's version of punishing teams without punishing them like publicly. So I have the Denver at 2.
I
Sean
mean,
Payton
yeah.
runs his mouth.
looking at how they open up that schedule is nuts, man. I mean, you get basically, not including Kansas City because they didn't make the playoffs, but you get
Playoff
six
team after
playoff
playoff team.
caliber teams to start, and then a reprieve with Arizona, and then Kansas City, Carolina into your bye.
Yep.
So you're looking at 8 out of 10 of these teams are playoff teams. Eight out
Yeah.
of nine, you play Kansas City twice.
Yeah, and I mean, Sean Payton gets a little lippy at times, and he was being a little critical of the NFL in the offseason, and I do think that this is a little bit of a slap in the face, slap on the wrist punishment by the NFL with this schedule rolling out is telling you one way or the other, the Denver Broncos season is going to be figured out by week 8.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, yeah, like you said, you go at Kansas City, at Jacksonville in September, when it's gonna be 95 and humid,
Yeah.
and then you follow that up with the Rams on Sunday Night Football, at San Francisco, the Chargers, and then you have to go to Seattle on a short week. Congratulations, you got your little break with Arizona, but then you get Kansas City again, and then at Carolina into your bye week. They also finish. Did you see the end of their schedule?
Yeah, Buffalo, New England Chargers, just
Yeah.
awful.
At Buffalo, at New England, home for the Chargers.
You get a 3 week break with home against Miami, but then you go on the road to the Jets, on the road to Vegas. So you're not even at home for your easy stretch.
Yep. Yeah, like they got kicked in the dicks a little bit there. That is
Yeah.
going to be rough. Add in much like turnovers and one score game records as
Mm-hmm.
things not being linear. Teams that lead the league in sacks and especially when they are like historically great sack teams one year usually fall off a cliff. Fun
Yeah,
fact.
I've
Uh,
seen it
yes,
firsthand.
so not great. And then another one here, kind of talked about this where I feel like the NFL is telling you things with the schedule release, like with the
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs and Broncos expecting both of those starters to be back by week 1 and ready to go. Another one here is with my toughest schedule of the year is New England. They are telling you they're not doing anything about Mike Vrabel.
Yeah,
There is
100%.
not going to be any repercussions because we are getting a Super Bowl rematch to start the year, which I think is absolutely insane for New England. I feel for New England fans, I will say that. Because what was it, 2 years ago? Ravens got the Chiefs week 1 as the first game of the year, and I said it at the time. I hate that. I hate it so much. It sets such a weird tone for the rest of the year, no matter what happens in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you start at Seattle. You get to watch them raise the banner after they dog walked you
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Follow that up with the Steelers, who you had, what was it, 5, 6 turnovers in that game against them last year,
Mm-hmm.
and match up well with you just across the board there. And then you have to go to Jacksonville in September. It's going to be hotter than all hell, hot and humid. At Buffalo to follow that up. So you're going hot and humid and then have to go play Josh Allen and the Bills. They're going to be gassed at that point. Then you do get your little break of the Raiders and the Jets there. But then you have to go to Chicago on a short week.
To Miami.
To Miami, November, not as bad, but as going to Jacksonville in September, but still going to be hot. And Patriots have not been,
Good in Miami.
yes, for what, like a decade now.
Decade. Yeah. And then you're home against Green Bay and Detroit back to back. Hit the
And
bye.
Detroit is in Munich, so you have to do that into your bye week. And then out of your bye, you get at the Chargers, then the Bills, then the Vikings, at Kansas City in December on Monday Night Football when it's going to be cold, shitty,
Mm-hmm.
windy, horrible weather, at the Jets, and then finish Denver and Miami at the end of the year.
Just not
I
ideal.
yeah, like this. I think Denver's might across the board be a little bit tougher, but just because of the weight of Week 1 for the Patriots,
Hmm.
again, you lose that game, that can completely derail that team season, especially with them being a younger team. I don't like it.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
that's just a tough break. And again, could be the NFL's way of punishing them without actually punishing them.
it's also a testament to, are these actually going to be good teams going forward? Or are they going to be like, I'll climb to the top, fall down, and then when I get that easy schedule again, I'll go back up.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, like I have Chicago as my easiest schedule this year, and
mm,
they, based on winning percentage from last year, they have the toughest strength of schedule.
mm,
So it's just a different. Like I said, you just the layout of it. They
right.
got a lot of favors with that schedule. However, I do have a little bonus take here, which this might actually be the toughest schedule, and I
It's
feel
just,
for them.
they're just in that awful, awful division.
And I was gonna say, like, I just didn't want to put them on the list because they're not going to be relevant enough.
Hmm.
Arizona Cardinals have an insane schedule.
They might go 0-17
So already came out not favored in any
in
of their
any.
games.
I mean, I wouldn't think so.
Just at face value. I wrote down is they are definitely not going to be favored until after their bye, and I think that is 100% going to be the case.
They get the Jets. There are two potential wins on the schedule, or the Jets, or both New York teams
But even at that point too, it's like they get the Giants week
early. So,
4, they
so
get them week
that's why.
4.
So
So,
that's
but
why I
that could,
think that's possible.
but they have to go to New York, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's the one that you go, okay, but I think by week 4, the Giants are going to kind of have that Harbaugh identity kind of
I was just more
established
so
at
meaning
that
like
point.
health wise with Dart,
That's
and
fair.
if he was going to be fully back. Otherwise,
Right.
obviously, I'm on the
Yeah,
other
but
side.
that could also be the first game that Neighbors is on a full,
Correct.
isn't
Yeah.
on a snap count anymore. But again, they start at the Chargers, then they get Seattle, then they go to San Francisco, then to New York. Again, 1 p.m. start. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Um, then they get Detroit after that, at the Rams, Denver, at Dallas, at Seattle, Rams, at Kansas City, Washington, Eagles. That is their first 13 games before they get to the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
After the
get
bye.
Jets, Saints, Raiders, and finish with the Niners. They legitimately might not have a win until after their bye week.
Yeah,
Like that is something that is
it's
on
rough.
the board.
Arch, get ready to learn sand.
For real.
Yeah.
We're going to see Carson back by week 5.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Speaking of which, sorry, this was my one last little tidbit here. I did forget that I wanted to put this in here. And I wanted your thoughts on it. Out of curiosity, because of their schedule,
Hmm.
would you consider running with Kirko chains and having Mendoza sit for a little while?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's just gonna happen regardless. I mean,
You think you're on that too? Okay, cool.
You don't
I
sign
wanted to
Kirk
make sure I
Cousins
wasn't the only
without
one.
yeah, you don't sign Kirk Cousins without that idea that he's gonna at least play the first 4 games of the year, which I think is a good idea. Let Mendoza actually learn the offense a bit before you plug him in there. Plus, offensive line is still a little iffy, and there's no one to throw to. Might as well let Kirk get the brunt
Beat
of
up.
or
I was circling week 8
I think it's week.
as
I think it'll be before then, but just more so because I think Kirk's gonna die before then. But
that's fair. I was just looking at it because it's okay. You get Miami and then you get Chargers Saints. So that first 3 weeks isn't terrible, but then it's Kansas City, New England, Buffalo, Rams. I was circling week 8 as the one that's potential. Give Mendoza 2 weeks with at the Jets, at the Niners.
Mm.
and which I think there's going to be regression on the Niners losing Salah. But then you give him that little 2 week ramp up kind of thing before you get Seattle and Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. It's we'll see. They'll do whatever they want to do at the end of the day,
That's
and
fair.
if they feel like he's ready, they're gonna run him out there. But I think at least the first couple of weeks we won't see Mendoza, unless
Gotcha.
barring injury.
Fair enough. I wasn't sure where you landed on that because
No,
I was kind
no,
of
it's
looking
fine.
at it like, again, you drafted him number one overall. Like, the
But
expectation is that you're probably going to start him. But I
at some
also was
point,
just kind of
correct.
looking at the schedule going, like, man, do you really want him just getting the hell beat out of him? And I do think the Raiders, even if they did run with Mendoza, I think they could be one of those frisky 7, 8
Teams,
win
sure,
teams,
sure.
just with the additions and the offseason that they've had. But I also don't think, like you said too, you bring in Kirk Cousins, you at least
In the manner he
open the
did.
door in the first place to, hey, like, watch him get the hell beat out of him for a little bit as we figure everything else out. So, yeah, I was just curious where you landed on that.
No, I'm in agreement. So
All right, that's all I got.
yeah, that's it, man.
Shout out the Chargers and their very subtle jabs.
But yeah, they're
Those were
great.
good.
Go watch the
That's
video.
good.
It's funny.
It's fantastic. All right, you got anything else?
That's it, man.
No, then let's get out of here.